This is Never Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it? Let's get it.
What's up, Cowboys Nation?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. After a long weekend, we got Jimmy D. He's doing mobile, so we're gonna see how he works. If he sounds bad, we might have to kick him to the curb, if you know what I mean. Not trying to hurt the man, but we got a quality show we got to do. But Jimmy D, what's up, my brother? I
You
guess
know
you can't.
what? I gotta say, everything was great once the intro came on. Now I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, I gotta bounce them off. Try and log back in. So this is what happens when you try and do stuff on the fly. You end up with some issues. So right now it's your boy. So we gotta get this thing rolling. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a nice weekend. We're gonna see what happens with Jimmy. Give him one more chance. He looks clear now. Jimmy, what's up? Can you hear me?
Trying it one more time. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Damn it. Man, it's just like a few weeks ago. It's like deja vu.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not working. You can sit and smile if you want, but and see if it works. But or you can try it again. But anyway, no, everything is good, guys. Man, this is a time we gotta, we earn our money. Slow week, nothing going on. So I put together a top 5 Dallas Cowboy running backs all time. Dropped that out on Saturday. I hope you guys had a chance to watch it. It was pretty good. Not so much controversy. Maybe some controversy at the 5 and 4 spot, but 1 and 2, it's going to be Emmett Smith and Tony Dorsett. So I'm working on another one. It's top 5 Dallas Cowboy receivers all time. So that's going to be the next one. We're going to drop that one and see how it works. And hopefully you guys get a chance to see it because your boy's going on vacation starting Thursday. So Wednesday, Kelly K9 and I are going to do a very special Wednesday night show. Get that thing rolling, and then we'll your boy's gonna be gone Thursday morning, heading up to Blue Ridge for a little rest and relaxation. So any of you guys, if you're up in the Blue Ridge area next week, you give your boy a holler, and we can have some fun. So anyway, yeah, 30 days to go to training camp. Jimmy, I guess you can't hear me still. So
Well, like I said, I can see everything looks good. You know, I was gonna say, I can't hear anything right now, but I was gonna say I have my young son in the car, and I don't want to hear any bad language. But I ain't hearing nothing right now.
Well, we'll let you focus on the road because I don't want to mess things up. So you could try again, see if it works. Let me know. But yeah, we're having trouble with Jimmy D. That's what happens when you try and do these shows on the fly. You end up with some problems, people getting mobile, but we're going to have some fun. So I've been going through the cave. We've been working things out, trying to figure out what we're going to do with this cave. We got to get everything ready because, like my man Doug said, training camp is right around the corner. So I got these a couple years ago, a couple seasons ago, and they are nothing crazy. They're Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They did the Panini was out there, and they did these jumbo 5x7 cards. I ended up getting a few of them. You know how you boys, I'm going to grab a few things. So anyone who wants these for their cave, like I said, there's no value in them, but they're just kind of cool. You guys know how to find me on Twitter, Instagram, any social media platform. Just send me a DM. Whoever sends it first message I get, that's the way it goes. You guys, I will mail them out to you. All you got to do is DM me. I'll let you know it's what's up. And then all you got to do is send me back your address, and those will be it. Let's see. We've got, because I talked about the top 5 receivers, Thrill, Dez, Bullet, Pearson, and Playmaker. Now, I will say, maybe we'll debate it a little bit, and Jimmy D apologizes. If he gets everything going, maybe we'll get him to jump back on. But I don't know if I should steal the thunder and kind of you got the 5. I will say you got the 5, but the order is not what I have. The order is not what I have. So, but you do got the 5 in there that would be the Dallas Cowboys. And then we talked about who are the ones that didn't make that top 5. And a name that came up, and it was one of those where, God, how do you not put him in there? But you got to look at the Cowboy years, would be T.O. And, I don't look at T.O. as a Cowboy. So that was one of there's certain criteria. Do you look at him as a Cowboy? I don't look at T.O. as a Cowboy, but man, he was dominant. He was dominant in those 3 years with the Cowboys. I mean, over 1,000 yards every single time. I think he was double-digit touchdowns all the time. And it made it very hard not to sneak him in. But I think the 5 that you had mentioned, double star, that's probably the right one. And let me see what we say. Bullet Bob ahead of Dez. I would agree. I would agree with that. I think people forget. And when I did this research and I'm looking through how good Bullet Bob Hayes was. I mean, you're talking about a guy. He led the NFL in receiving yards or average yards per reception. And he had like 26 yards per reception one year. He had 24, 25 yards per reception another year. He finished his career with 20 yards per reception. I mean, most guys are like 15 yards, 14 yards. So you think about it, you add up all those catches, it's like, damn, that's a pretty good, that was a damn good career in an era where the running game was more prevalent. He got 1,000 yards in that era. But more importantly, why I think Bullet Bob Hayes would really be a lot higher, on what Double Star, put was he changed the game. He changed the way defenses had to play because you had to put a guy over top because of his speed. I mean, he's a Olympic runner. And Bullet Bob Hayes, we're going to get into it. So make sure you check it out. It'll be dropping Monday because I'm on vacation. So I'm going to work it through, and I'm going to post it on Monday. But it'll be a great one. But yeah, T.O. just not long enough. Just the career wasn't long enough with the Cowboys. But I mean, he goes down as one of the greatest receivers of all time. There's no doubt about it. It's just when you put him in that Cowboy, top 5 Cowboy, I can't do it. Can't do it. Can you believe it? Believe it took those selectors 29 years to put him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. There's a lot of criminal things on what they did for a lot of these receivers, and it's just I don't know what it is with receivers. It's just they get bunched up. And then you got to compare eras. And that's the one thing, too, is when we're talking about these receivers, you could look at the receivers today and you're like, well, geez, you got to put, this guy in there. Look at all the catches he has and this and that. But it's in a different era. The guys, in the 60s, they didn't have those huge years. It wasn't throwing the ball like crazy. In the 70s, they weren't. In the 80s, it just, you had a few teams getting going like Marino and stuff and Elway. But then, into the 90s, that's when it started going more and more. So let's see what Doug's got here. Doug has Irvin, Hayes, Pearson, Hill, and Bryant. He's close. He's close. Very close. But same top 5, but not my top 5. I don't know. You guys want to guess it? We can figure it out. But if you do, you still got to watch it. You still got to make sure you watch it because I can't have you guys not watching my stuff when I'm putting it on. But it's gonna be good. We're gonna have I'll have some good discussion about it. But that one, Doug, was close, very close. It's almost like that game where you got to switch everything out. You hit the buzzer to see if you got all 5 correct, and then you got to flip some around. So you're close. But those 5, and I think talking about Tony Hill, he's one of those guys that just really kind of flies under the radar as one of the great Cowboys. You look at the career he had, 3 Pro Bowls. He was a number 2 guy for a lot of years, right? With Pearson, it was Pearson and Hill. And then he became the 1, later on, if you want to call them the ones. And later on in his career and put together some more 1,000-yard years. So, he was one that just, he's a forgotten Cowboy. And that's one of these things with these Cowboys, they become forgotten. But the one thing that we've done on this channel, you guys know, is we bring the forgotten ones back. And Eugene Lockhart was the latest. And I've been talking to Eugene, getting him set up on Cameo. Your boy's on Cameo. So we're going to get Eugene on Cameo to make sure that, he could drop some hype with you guys as well and do those birthday shout outs and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to be doing that. It sounds like, I don't want to steal the thunder, but we're going to talk about a little Wednesday, the first annual Cowboys Cave tailgate. We might have a former Dallas Cowboy there to hang with us a little bit. Get the mojo right. Get us everyone feeling good and feeling hype when we get ready to take on those Jets. So that's going to be even better. I got a guy out there signing autographs, taking pictures, doing all that good stuff with the fans. So we're going to do that. So that's something that's in the works, and we're hopeful that that'll fall, that'll fall through well. And then we're also working on some other player interviews, other great guys that paved the way, to the great game that it is today that we love. And like Jimmy D, he's not here in person, but he's here in spirit because he had some issues. But it's going to be fun, and we got, man, Cuts by Jones, my man Fred. He's going to be working the grill. He's already got a brand new grill all ready to go. So we are going to have a good time. Like I said, everybody's welcome. Everyone at Cowboys Nation is welcome. But like I said, you guys got to, you got to contribute to the cause, if you know what I mean. Don't be coming with empty-handed. You bring some beer, some drinks, some food, some snacks, all that good stuff. And we're going to we'll figure out what lot we're in. I got to hold that up to Mark, and make sure that we find a good spot. But we're going to have a great time. We got to kick the season off right. We got game 1 on the road against the Giants. We all know what's going to happen there. We're going to slap them around a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and take that home opener against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and we're going to make sure that we leave that stadium putting that, that curse of Rodgers behind us and get everything right. So what's up, EJ? EJ, I'm doing what you had to do, man. I'm running solo. And like I said, it ain't easy. It ain't easy running solo, but you guys make it easy in the chat, and I do appreciate all of that. So we got my man Bud's bringing beer. We got a shout out to EJ from Doug. I know Doug is going to be in the house. I know Doug's going to be there, and we're going to have a good time at the tailgate. Kelly's going to be there. I think Shady's going to be there. You saw Camber and Massey, the show that Kelly did, special great guests. I was so mad I missed it. We just saw them on Thursday night. They're going to be there. Well, I'm sure Tuck is going to be shouting out and all that good stuff. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And running solo, man. I had to be like you, my man Kelly. So Kelly, I didn't get a chance to talk to about it, but we secured some stuff for the Cowboys Cave tailgate party. We're working on some other stuff, but we're also working on some other guests. And Kelly and I are going to talk about that on Wednesday at 9 p.m. We're going to get everything right there, make sure you guys hear all the stuff that's going on, because this is a tough time, but in the busier times, we got so much content, so much to do. Dropping hype. I got to drop a cameo after I get done with this. Someone actually wants me. I'll get you guys' opinion on this. So I got a cameo request. And what he wants me to do is, his buddy's a big Cowboys fan and is a big Dak Prescott fan. And he says Dak is a top 5 quarterback, So he wants me to break the news to him that Dak Prescott is not a top 5 quarterback. And because of that, he needs to give him a day off of work, since I had to set him straight. So, question to you guys. I don't know if Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback. I'd probably say, if I had to run down a list, I'd probably say he's not. I'd probably say he's probably like, between 7 and 8. If you're going to rank him honestly, that's probably where he falls going into this season. I don't really give 2 craps about rankings. All I care about, somebody get me a ring. That don't matter to me. Just give me the. But do any of you guys think Dak is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? So I've got maybe I'm doing the cameo for Troy. Hopefully I didn't spoil it, because you got Dak number 2 or number 3. So what do you guys got? Not top 10, not Kelly. Kelly's going with not top 10 or not top 5. And if Kelly's bored, you can always hop on here too if you're just sitting around chilling. Because Jimmy sold me out. His internet don't work. But I agree. I think he's in the top 10. I don't think he's top 5. We got, there's Mark. Mark is he's the head of our Cowboys Cave tailgate. So you guys make sure you show some love to Mark when we get out there, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be having a tailgate party, Cowboys Cave first annual tailgate party. So we got to owe it to Mark. You got Dak at 4. So I would ask you in the chat, the ones who had 4, who do you have? Who do you have ahead of him, Mark? I'm curious. And then also with Troy, obviously you got to have Mahomes ahead of him. But who is your other wild card that you would have ahead of him? So let's see. Not they're all the same. Mahomes is the only one that stands alone. See, I agree. I think that if you got Mahomes and everyone else, and you can kind of mix them up. So I think to your point, if someone had Dak in top 5, I'm not going to argue about it. I'm not going to cry about it. But if you were to argue the other way and say, hey, I'm going to put him at 7, I'm going to put him at 8, then I would, I can't argue that either. It's probably where it's see. It's when the idiots come on here and tell me that he's 15 or that he's 17, and they got, I saw my man Malik Rozier, who I love. I mean, Miami Hurricane from the U, friend of the show. We're gonna have to get him on again because he's standing by it. And I dropped the challenge, and he didn't accept my challenge because he had said that Purdy will have a better year than Dak Prescott. And I said, well, let's bet a steak dinner in Tampa, Ocean's Prime, loser pays. And he didn't respond to that. So he came out again. And he said that for all the heat he's getting on Brock Purdy being a top 10 quarterback, he said, well, I look at all the weapons he has around him. I look at the defense, and I look at his coach. So do you guys take that into account when you're talking about top quarterback? Are you looking at his defense? Are you looking at all his weapons and everything around them? Because, I mean, if you do that, then maybe in that year, Trent Dilfer was a top 5 quarterback because he had the most unbelievable defense and he had weapons. He had Hall of Fame tight end, had receivers, had running backs, so all that kind of stuff. So I don't really buy that. I don't buy that. I think when you're looking at who you think's a top 10 quarterback, you're looking at what their skill set is and how they elevate the players around them, how they elevate the team. And that's why Mahomes is always going to be at the top of my list because he elevates the players around him. Look at the receivers. He lost all those receivers and he didn't skip a beat. Now he has a great tight end. Take nothing away from that, but his receivers, nothing to write home about. So Patrick Mahomes, Burrow, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't know about Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen, I could see. Trevor Lawrence, I see. Dak and Hurts. That's going to be the interesting one. Is the people have Hurts ahead of Dak. I think if you go off last year, all right, yeah, I guess you got to give him his due. Hurts had a better year, but I think over the body of work, I'm going to have to go with Dak. So Mahomes, Burrow, Dak, Allen, Hurts, Herbert, Rodgers, Lawrence. See, I can't argue it, but I think Allen, who turns the ball over a lot, no one ever wants to talk about that. I think Allen right now's career is probably a little bit better than Dak. I think Herbert, is as gifted as any quarterback, but I mean, he also did blow a big playoff lead that no one wants to talk about either. I think the one that I would be creeping up to the top is your number 8, Trevor Lawrence. I think you just saw him get better and better as the season went on. And that's why when we talked about that game, I was like, man, I do not want to play Jacksonville late in the season just because I just had bad feelings. Where's Jimmy D? Well, Jimmy decided to go on some road trip and doesn't have good internet and had issues connecting and talking. So I told him we had to kick him to the curb. You cannot jeopardize the quality of this show for selfish acts, if you will. No, he had to take care of his kid at practice, and we tried to do the show. It just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. So Mahomes plays outside the box. Allen with his legs. No, yeah. I mean, Mahomes does everything. Mahomes does. I mean, he does everything great. No doubt about it. I think the thing that Josh Allen does, and I wish Dak would do it a little bit more. I wish Dak, would use his legs a little bit more like Josh Allen does. I don't want to run as much as Josh Allen, but I do like to see him getting some yards and kind of getting that easy first down to get the next wave going. I think sometimes you sit back and you're throwing want to hold the ball too long to find the right pass. I think sometimes, man, just take that first down, slide. Of course, we watch it slide. Even though I know you can lay some people out, Dak, just go ahead and slide and let's live to play another play, if you know what I mean, and then just start out with a fresh set of downs. So let's check the comments. You guys are hitting it. I wouldn't put Hurts in the top 5. I wouldn't either. Because I just need to see a few more years out of him. I would probably, like I said, I'd probably have Dak 6, 7, 8 somewhere in there, and I would have Hurts 6, 7, 8 somewhere in there. I'd probably have Lawrence in my top 5. Don't kill me for it. I'd probably definitely have to put him in there. And then you got Mahomes, you got Allen. Rodgers would be the wild card. Obviously, Burrow would be 2 for me. So that's where it gets kind of dicey. It gets kind of dicey with what's your flavor, what's your flavor of quarterback? I tell you one that I would watch this year. He's not in the top 10, but he's a guy that keep an eye on is Justin Fields. He did everything for the Bears. A crappy offense. He ran the ball like crazy. He's got a good arm. He's got a strong arm. So he's one. They got a couple weapons. They're probably not ready yet, but he's one to watch to see if he can take that next step. But I was a fan of his coming out of college. So and he seems like a good kid. So I'm hoping he's there. So EJ, I got a lot of stuff to catch up. He's got Dak 6, maybe 5. So I guess it's going to be hard for me on this cameo. I can't give the guy too hard of a time for having Dak in the top 5 because a lot of you guys have it. You got Lawrence 5, and see, this is probably where I'm at with an asterisk to Rodgers because I got to see it. I got to see it from Rodgers with the Jets to see if he's really is he going to take that Brett Favre approach that he did with Minnesota where he just tore up the league and tore us up in the playoffs in the same time, or is he kind of I don't want to say checked out, but is he just kind of not feeling? Eagles have a tough schedule. So we'll see. And I think, Kelly said that on Twitter. I was able to catch some of his tweets, but he's been consistent with it. He said it on a show a bunch of times. He thinks the Eagles are going to be 9-8. And, 9-8. Looking at their schedule, I see where he's coming from. There's usually that Super Bowl hangover that you sometimes get from the losing team. Sometimes you have that. They lost both coordinators, so they're replacing both of their coordinators. Very tough schedule, and that's why I say I think Dallas is not. We've been 12 wins, 12 wins. I don't think we get to 12 wins with the schedule. And if you look at the way it's balanced up, and you're looking at Miami, at Buffalo in December. You got some tough games caked in together. I think maybe we win 10 or 11. I think more 11. I think we're going to be better than Philly. So that tells you I think Philly's going to be like 9 or 10 wins. But I think we're a better team. The interesting thing that could happen, and we talked about it, is I think just my opinion, I think the issues that San Francisco has at quarterback and the uncertainty, I think the top 2 teams in the NFC are in the East. But I think between Dallas and Philly beating up on each other and also the tough schedule that both of them have because they're in the East, they play the AFC East. We play the Chargers on the road. They play Kansas City on the road. Very tough schedule. I think you could end up with a team out of the South, out of the North. I don't know if the West seems to be a little bit better, so maybe not there, but you can get a surprise team that steals the number 1 seed. And that number 1 seed is so important now that the 1 seed is the only one to get the bye. That's a huge advantage. And you saw it play out for Philly. It worked out perfectly for them because the Giants pulled the upset, beating an overrated Minnesota team. I don't know if Philly don't like to hear this, but it's the truth. They play a overrated Giants team that they beat twice, very familiar with. Go ahead and handle that. And then they're in an early dogfight with San Francisco, and they knock the quarterback out. San Francisco has no backup, no nothing, and the backup gets hurt, and they end up their running back as their quarterback running a wishbone. So that things like that happen, but you create your own luck, you create your own opportunities, and them getting the number 1 seed allowed that. So it gives you the best possible matchups because you always play the lowest seed. So that's why I think getting that number 1 seed is so important in the NFL now. And I think it's something that the Dallas, I wish they gotta try and lock it up somehow. Yes, glad. And for anyone who's late, like I said, I'm cleaning up the cave. So I've got these. I haven't looked at my Twitter or anything like that. I've got these 2 Panini cards, 5x7. It's Dak and CD. I got a few of them. So I'm giving a set out. All you got to do is find me on social media. Say, hey, I want them. I'm just going to just tell you the first one I see, they get it. Then I'll say, you got it. Give me your address. I'll send those out. They're not anything. They're not valuable, I don't think. They're just, sentimental, right? So you get a nice little CD Lamb and Dak Prescott card you can hang in your Cowboys cave and get everything right. So anyway, so you guys just hit me up if you want that. And what else is happening with our Cowboys? So we talked about all the stuff, with the running back situation. And I guess I turned this into a Cowboys takeover. And that's the problem. That's why I tell Jimmy, so we got to change this, is when he's not here, I don't know if you guys have figured it out. If it ain't football, I don't know a whole lot. If it ain't the NFL, if it's not college football, especially my man Steve, I got to give a shout out because I still got to figure out how the hell you were hanging out with Tyler Van Dyke. Hopefully you set him straight. Hopefully you told him, make sure that offensive coordinator is playing to your skill set. Hit that ball, throw that ball deep so we can open up this offense. Hopefully you told him all that because I'll be down there when we take on A&M. And I was there the last time we took A&M. I drove down to College Station, and I thought for sure we had that game, and we came up short. So hopefully you told Tyler Van Dyke that we got to right the wrong this year. This is the opportunity. So yeah. So I don't know how the hell you met him hanging out with Van Dyke, man. I got to hang out with you, man. You getting all these celebrities. So, but we talked about the running backs, and a lot of people are like, what are we doing at running back? Are you good? Do you think we need to add somebody? You got Pollard, and it's nothing against Pollard. I feel good with Pollard, but it's what is after that. It's not really. I think Vaughn is going to be one of those guys that's going to. He's going to be a play, make some plays like a Sproles back in the day. Kind of find ways to use him receiving, running. He's going to be kind of like gadget, you could say, player for us. Malik Davis, if you're high on him, which he looked good in preseason, or Ronald Jones. What do we have outside of that? That when we got to close it out, do we have the closer? And I just don't know. I think Pollard is going to bring it. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he'll have a Pro Bowl year. I think everything is good there. But with a 17-game season, 3 games in the playoff, you can add it all up. It's like 20 games. You're not going to be able to do that with one running back. You're going to need someone that is going to be able to take the punishment and in between tackles and get those what we call dirty yards. And I don't know if we have that on the team. Now, I could be proven wrong with Jones. I'm never been a huge fan of his, but maybe he proves me wrong. Malik Davis is young. So if you take the words of one of our former guests, Ian Beckles, who was an offensive lineman, he said, there's only a couple running backs and there's a bunch of guys. So he would be a guy. So if you trust your line and you trust that you got some young legs that can, hit between the tackles and get you those dirty yards, then maybe we got it in Malik Davis. I'm not sure. And I don't ever like going into the season with, I'm not sure. I made that mistake last season. I was, one of the guys when they traded Amari Cooper away. I said, hey, the team obviously knows something we don't. And I was wrong. They didn't have an answer to replace Amari Cooper. They kind of was hoping it would be by committee. Maybe they were hoping that Jalen Tolbert stepped up. Maybe they're hoping that Michael Gallup came back from the injury, which, historically has always been a 2-year process. So this is going in the second year. Sure the hell hope they didn't think that Noah Brown was the answer. Because that would have been even a dumber, bigger mistake. I don't want to say dumber. That's not nice. But so I think at running back, to me, it's just so critical that we've got the guys that can do it. And I know Mark has been very, very, consistent with this. He believes Zeke's coming back. And I think, there's a role, if Zeke accepts a role, there is a role for Zeke on the team. I just don't know, what he's got left, but maybe less is more. Maybe if he was getting 8 to 10 carries and getting the dirty yards and getting the short yardage stuff, and he came back for a salary that was, fit that role, he could, maybe it's something he can go and he can flourish in, like Mark Ingram. I mean, Mark Ingram almost revived his career. He got a change in his role with the guy in San Francisco. I'm looking at his face, but I can't remember his name. So maybe that's something that we can do. And EJ said he's dropping a little video. So yeah, that's a channel. Make sure you guys support EJ. Cowboys in the Zone. Make sure you support his YouTube channel. He does great stuff. He's been a guest of the show a couple times, and I'm sure we'll do it again once the season starts. So anyway, yeah. Let's get the comments. I got to catch up. Before Amari, they were wrong, and they did it after, and then they say they sent it to Cleveland. That was bad. That was bad. The Saints guy, yeah. Who was the Saints guy? It was the Saints running back. Someone help me with his name with him and Ingram. But Ingram was able to have that other role, and he did very well in that role, and extended his career. So Mark said he's got stuff left in the tank. I sure hope he does. And he's been hit with some injuries. I mean, he's been hit with some injuries. Kamara, that's it. Thank you. Somebody help me when you see I'm struggling with these names. When I start talking off the top of my head, I don't have all this stuff on me, man. There you go. Doug's helped out too. So maybe you see the running backs kind of going that route. Maybe where you got the Pollard's like Kamara and Ingram would be like a Zeke and get them dirty yards, short yardage yards, and things like that. So maybe there's something there. So appreciate it, Troy. But yeah, so that is what I think they need. They need to get a role for that. So hopefully the Cowboys have an answer at running back. And there's good running backs out there, and the running backs have been devalued. They've been devalued for whatever reason. Man, they take a beating, and I feel bad. But sign Cooks. I tell you, I know Kelly was hot on it. I think Dalvin Cook would be one that I'd be very interested in. I'm interested to see Carr New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans is going to be a tricky team. They're in a bad division, and that could be one of those teams that sneak into the playoffs, that could even sneak into to get the number 1 seed, because they play in a bad division. I know Jimmy don't want to hear that, but if Atlanta turns out to be bad, Tampa, I live in Tampa, there's no signs that they're going to be very competitive. Everyone's kind of given up. You're going to see an empty stadium, just like days past. Now that Brady's gone, but Buccaneers are smart. They made you sign a 2-year agreement on your season tickets, so they locked you in for that extra year, knowing that Brady probably wasn't going to be back. But the Saints are a team that, if they get going, and Carr's a good quarterback, very underrated quarterback. If they get going, he's a guy, and that team could go in and sneak and have some record. They'd be like, oh my God, what we used to call paper champions, based on the teams they've played, and they end up getting a number 1 seed. So you just never know. But let's see the comments. We can afford a good power back to get those tough yards, pass protect. Yeah, we've got plenty of cap space, and I don't think a running back like that's going to cost you much money. So they've got plenty. What I'd like to see him do with some of that cap space is go ahead and get Diggs or CD, get one of these young guys that are going to be coming up for free agency soon. Go ahead and lock one of them up and start spreading that money out, so we're not chasing ourselves later, because you're going to have some guys coming up. Our backfield will earn a nickname of our own. So yeah, we'll see how they do. We got the fullback, right? You got the fullback. And I know there's always a fan favorite. And you always have those diamonds in the rough. You always got those guys, and I'm just saying, man, he was an undrafted free agent. So I'm not, maybe your expectations, if they're high on him or what, I mean, it's great. And I hope, again, I'm proven wrong, and there's always undrafted free agents that come out and they have good careers and this and that. So I'm not taking anything away from them. And like I said, man, when you got the Cowboy star on, I'm going to be one of your number 1 fans. I just don't have huge expectations that he is going to be this dominant guy that's just going to come in and set the league on fire. Maybe I'm wrong. And hopefully I am proven wrong. But if that's what we're banking on to get the dirty yards and do all that, then it's just like I said with Amari Cooper. I hope we're right. I hope we're right because we were wrong with that, and I hope we're right and the decisions they make. But I think when you've got a team that's championship ready, no doubt about it. I don't care what the only people that say we're not championship ready are the haters that don't want to admit it. We've got a championship defense. We've got a championship offense. I don't want to go with maybes. If we've got an opportunity to shore up a position with a guy that's got some talent that can give us a year or two or whatever now, and we can get him at a good price, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. It's just like Hopkins. Do we need Hopkins? No. If Hopkins wants to come play for the Cowboys and we can get him under the contract, am I going to throw him to the side? Hell no. It would be the same thing with Dalvin Cook. It'd be the same with any other running back that's out there. I want to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position to win. Offensive line. We've talked about that. Do you like our starting five? Sure. I think our starting five is you could put them up against any offensive line in the league. They'll stack up with them. The problem comes is that there's going to be some problems in that offensive. Tyron Smith is going to get hurt. Steele is coming off an injury. Will he be back to what he is? You just don't know. But as I'm saying, I want any sure things or any high probabilities of success. I'll take those guys. I don't want us to go. I don't want us to go. We like our guys. I want us to get better and better in every position and increase, competition. And I think you have that in a lot of positions, especially on defense. So let's see. Dak made a huge statement saying we will win the Super Bowl. I'm confident. That's what you should say. I don't know. I don't get excited with that kind of stuff. And people get pissed off at me and say, "Oh, here you go. You're going to say, Dak, it's your year." What the hell do you want me to say? I'm a Cowboys fan. If I was an Eagles fan, a Giants fan, of course I'm a fan of a team. I have expectations that we're going to win the Super Bowl. Otherwise, why the hell do you watch the game? So I think Dak, he better be saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl. He better be saying that every year. The moment I don't hear that come out of his mouth, I'm going to be pissed off. That's why I used to get so mad where they say bulletin board material. When Tank Lawrence would say, "Hey, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna smash them." Well, I sure hope the hell that's the way he feels, and he should let everyone know that. I don't care. And if that's what it takes to motivate you on the other side, then we already won. We already won the game. So I think Dak is going to have a good season. I think McCarthy being his, I don't want to say offensive coordinator because I guess you got Schottenheimer, but we all know McCarthy's heavily involved in the offense now. I think he's going to help him out a lot. I think Schottenheimer's going to help him out a lot because now I think Dak has people that are going to tell him the way it is. I think sometimes with Moore, they were friends. And hey, we all work with friends. We all have friends, and maybe I'm not that way. Maybe people I work with will say, "No, Mike, you tell us the way it is." Hopefully they do. But I think you're going to be nicer. You're going to be a little softer. You're going to be a little easier on your friends. You're not going to be as direct and maybe hit them with the hard truth sometimes when they make a mistake. So I think McCarthy will do that. I think he'll be, he'll hold Dak accountable. I think Schottenheimer will as well. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's going to make Dak even better. But I think the offense are going to put Dak in positions to be more successful. And they've obviously, getting Cooks and, and getting Gallup, I think, is due to have that bounce back season. I think, and don't hate me, but I think Jalen Tolbert is going to be one of those surprise guys that you see on offense. He may not have, 800 yards or anything. He maybe only has 500 yards, but it's what kind of yards is he getting? When is he getting those yards? When is he getting those catches? And I think he's one of those guys that can create some opportunity and help Dak out and help this offense out, even though the numbers might be not be huge. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So they've got let's see. They have a great defense as well. Absolutely. That's hopefully you're talking about the Cowboys, but we do have a great defense. Let's see. The only position I think we might be thin is O-line. If it's going to be hard to find a vet now. They'd have to figure out a trade if they can get someone. But I agree. The offensive line is one of those, well, let's go. You've got, Richards they drafted. They got, I'm forgetting some of the guys. Hoping I'm mentioning Ball, but the other guy they had that they were high on. So they've got some guys that you just don't know. And again, for me, I that makes me uncomfortable. And I think as a fan, that's going to make anyone uncomfortable. And you got to, I don't know, maybe they'll be good, maybe they won't. I think that's definitely an area. Doomsday 2.0. Now it's Doomsday. Now, Mark, man, this hurts my feelings because I know you're a Cowboy historian. This actually technically would be Doomsday 3.0. But if you don't leave out if you put the 90s defense in there, it could be Dallas 4.0 because they had the Doomsday, which was like Larry Cole, Bob Lilly, George Andre, and I'm missing one guy, and I'm picturing him on my face, and I got him down there. It's Cole. I forgot him. But then you had Doomsday 2, which was like Harvey Martin, Randy White, Ed Too Tall Jones. So that was your Doomsday 2. And really, Larry Cole was on Doomsday 2. He was one of the few Cowboys because he played in 3 decades. And then it depended on if you want to throw the 90s in there. So not to give a history lesson on the Cowboys, but it would actually be 3.0 or 4.0, depending on how you want to look at it. Diggs, here we go. Diggs is a liability. I always wonder when we get, I always love when we get the haters in here because it makes it so nice. Diggs is a liability. So that's a Matt was Lecco. Yep. I always butcher his name. Jason Peters, he's 50 years old, but he's, he's one of those guys that they probably just wait till after week 1, right? You just go ahead and do that thing, and then you get him on that contract. So it could be, you can get him back. He lives in Texas. He's a Cowboy. He'd go in the Hall of Fame as a Cowboy. So of course, maybe you want to bring him back. Let's see, make a final decision on which all signs point to Tyler's going to be the guard and Tyron's going to be left tackle. That's and correct me, all my experts, because I'm not a inside the huddle expert for the Cowboys, but everything I kind of read and saw looks like that's the way it's going to start. But we know that's probably not going to. It's not going to finish. Not going to finish. So let's see what else. Jethro Pugh. Yep, he was one. He was one on there. There was another guy that I'm missing. It wasn't McHugh. It wasn't Pugh. So bring back Peters. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Make sure to leave. I'm bad at that. Is make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, and really share it. I'll give you guys, my 10-second speeches. It costs you nothing. A lot of people are new to the channel. We get new people all the time. We get so many new viewers, and it's at like a 60-40 rate of new viewers and current viewers. But all you got to do is hit that subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing, but what it does is helps the algorithm. It helps everything get going, and it just creates more, awareness of the channel. So if you hit that like, more importantly, on all your social media platforms you're on, share it. Because, we got all these followers, but you guys got a bunch of followers too. And sometimes all that stuff works out. So hopefully you guys continue to spread love, but we're getting new viewers, new subscribers every single day. And we've got, again, hopefully you're enjoying the content. If there's something you're missing, something that we're not doing right, that you want to cover more, then you know how to get a hold of your boy, man. You just let me know, or I'll see you down at AT&T. So let's see what else we got. Of course, I want to see Dr. Toller, but I think the surprise will be Turpin. Yeah, I think Turpin is going to be, again, he'll be one of those guys who'll get a few catches. I hope they find a way to use him more. I don't know, Simi. I think he might be on the outside looking in. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys let me know. Look at Jimmy checking in. Technology. We tried it, but we had to, we took care of it. But Jimmy will be back. Not next week. We're off on Monday. But we'll be doing, I said I'll be dropping a video for the top 5 Cowboy receivers all time. Then I think I'm going to do middle linebackers. So depending on how the time goes this week and what I'm up to, we might drop a couple. I enjoy doing that. Hopefully you guys like it. It's a little history of the Cowboys. You forget all the talent that's been here. I know for Eagle fans, it's hard for them to understand because they get like one Super Bowl win and they hang NFC East banners in their stadium because they got like 10 of them or something like that. But when you have the history that the Cowboys had for all these years, and you're going back to the 60s and all the way in, it's just the talent that's gone through this organization and how they were just ahead of the curve with technology, with everything Gil Brandt did, with the computers and the scouting and all of that kind of stuff, and just the way they were marketed, the Cowboys, and the way they were able to get the Cowboys on the map and really drive so much talent, really find talent. That's, we talked about receivers. You talk about Bob Hayes. I mean, he was an Olympic sprinter. He wasn't a All-American football player. They find these guys, and there was a little known guy named Percy Howard who I met down in South Florida, who was a basketball player, and Drew Pearson. You have all these guys that have so many other skills. I think Pearson was a quarterback, I think, in college. But anyway, they move these guys around and they find positions for them to be successful and get and optimize their talent. It's pretty cool. It's definitely, being a fan of the Cowboys and being a passionate fan of the Cowboys, the history is something that is better than, I'm going to be biased, is better than any other team that you can imagine. So that's why I love talking about the history of the team. I love learning about it. I love finding out new players and new things. So that's why I enjoy having, so many of these other players, former players coming into the cave to really hear their stories. Some of them are good. Some of them are great stories. Some of them, they touch at your heart when you hear that you have this vision of these guys that you grew up with, and they were supermen and heroes and had everything, and you just forget that, during that time, those early days, man, they weren't making near what these guys made. A lot of them had second jobs, a lot of them, and it was just a very demanding career for them and a short career for a lot of them. And they kind of got forgotten by the NFL as the NFL has taken off. And it does make you feel, kind of bad. So anyway, let's see what else we got. They played. Let's see. They played that Super Bowl win today for the. Oh, did they really? We're on NFL Network. Yeah, that's when you play that. Like, that's the thing, is like when you watch when you watch the Eagles. It's the only good thing about being an Eagle fan, if I'm just being honest. I mean, there are some advantages. Is like your Super Bowl highlights. You just watch them at lunchtime. You got you got an hour break. You got and watch the highlight, and you probably got enough time to eat. So that's the problem with a Cowboys fan, is like when you watch the Super Bowl highlights, I mean, it takes all day. I mean, it's 5 hours of your day to watch all, to watch everything. And, and those are our 5 wins. The Eagles, I guess they could say, well, they could look at all their losses, and that could take a little bit more time. But, it all depends. Oh, yeah, we got, that is Ultra back? Is Ultra back as the king? He probably is. It's either Ultra or, who was our other friend of the show? Carl. He's probably one of the two. And I just, that upsets me when they just can't be themselves. It's like, why do you got to hide behind fake names? Yeah, the Eagles are 1-3. I mean, you got to be proud of that. I mean, you got to be proud of that Super Bowl record. I mean, that's something, God, they were so proud of. They ate horse shit after they finally won. So I guess, you got to love them. You got to love those fans. But it'll be so nice to whoop their ass, just like we always do. Just like, that's why, like, when Tank Lawrence said that there's not a big gap, it's like, how the hell's there? Of course there's not a big gap. Didn't we drop 40 on them? I mean, I was there to see it. I was there to see us on that defense that they said was just so superb and so dominant. And unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done in AT&T. So, yeah, I liked Ultra. I did. I mean, poor Ultra got his feelings hurt because he was being disrespectful to one of my guests. And also, to you guys, is those of you who called Eugene Lockhart, thank you. He appreciates it. He said he got a ton of calls. So I thought that was cool. I still don't know why he gave out his number, but he did. He's his own man. He can do that. But he did enjoy all the conversations he had on the phone with people. And then also I gave him out the readout. He wanted to, see all the comments and chats. He really enjoyed. He just had a great time. So he is probably going to be back. He's going to be back. And I didn't talk to Kelly yet, but we're working on some Cowboy content. and might be having him on a semi-regular basis, doing some Cowboy stuff. Whether we do a separate dedicated show or we kind of figure something out, we'll all put our heads together and see what works best. So I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And he is yeah, I mean, it still was the best. I mean, Lockhart was. I still get a lot of messages and comments and stuff on that. But the one thing I do appreciate King is he's watching on YouTube. That's the other thing. You got to watch the show on YouTube because that gets the hours. So any of you guys on Facebook, whenever you think about it, you flip over to YouTube, and if you're not a subscriber, you hit subscribe. But also, if you just watch it on YouTube as well, or when you're working, you just put it on in the background on YouTube and get your job done, and that way we get our hour in from the dedication. But I do appreciate that. So let's see, Steve, are you guys still fighting? I don't know. Listen, I just know my man Ultra had some good jokes. Yeah, no, it's fine. I liked Ultra. He's always welcome back. I didn't ban him. I just muted him just out of respect for our guests, because when we have a guest on, and I've had Eagle on, I've had Redskin, former, I guess Redskins, they were the Redskins in, so I got to say it. And we always show them respect. I mean, you come in here, you're always going to get the respect. Now, afterwards, maybe we'll talk some smack, see what happens, but you're going to get that. What else we got going on? Let's see. Yeah, I know. You guys have fun with that, man. You got to have fun, and I appreciate Winston swapping it out. I know you're on Facebook, and I do. Yeah, Ultra's passion. He's got some passion. Not as much passion as Eugene Lockhart did. And I don't think I'll put this on because I don't think anyone's sensitive. I don't think anyone really cares. And you're an Eagle fan watching Cowboys content. We appreciate it. Because you're supporting the channel. So there is no sensitivity. You're always entitled to your opinion. And I would always say, if you want to, you're welcome to come on the show. I'll send you a link on Wednesday. If you want to come on the show Wednesday with Kelly and I, hit me up on social media and I will send you a link, and you have the opportunity to speak your mind and your piece. As long as it's we're having good debate and good discussion, I'll give you the opportunity. So it's easy to just sit there and chat some stuff, but now we put the face with the name, and you can come on and talk. So anyway, so if you want to do that, King, come on through, and I will message me on Facebook or Twitter, and I will invite you on the show on Wednesday, 9 p.m. We're going to be special day instead of Thursday, Wednesday, 9 p.m. with Kelly K9 and I talking all Cowboys, but it'll be great. So I appreciate King. If you want to do it, you got my number. You know where to find me. And Eagle fan, she went to the game with me to get. Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I tell you, and I love that. I love the. I mean, two of my best friends are Eagle fans, so I have nothing against the Eagles or their fans. I always have a good time when I go there. They're always very nice, very cool. We have a great time at Texas Live and talk about it all the time. So I have nothing against the Eagles, but it is fun. I've never. And don't let it happen this year. I've never seen the Cowboys lose against the Eagles. And I've seen some crazy games where the Cowboys probably should have lost the Eagles, and it's never happened. So maybe I'm the good luck charm. Maybe I'm not. Maybe they stink and we're better. So you guys can figure it out any which way you want. So we'll see. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Goggles Eagle fan too. Yeah. That's it. That's always a good time. But the thing is, it's a I don't want to call it like a great rivalry, because I think the rivalry with the Cowboys and Eagles it really depends on the teams. Where I think with Washington, you always I mean, even when Washington is bad, there's just something about it, man. They don't like each other, and it's maybe it's kind of lost its luster since they're not the Redskins anymore, and it was Cowboys and Indians back in the day. But that, to me, historically, and if you talk to any Cowboy, former player, the Washington rivalry is what really they look at as that was the rivalry. When you're talking about the Philly rivalry, this is what Eugene said about it.
And usually during the off season, when they bring the schedule out, we would chalk it up as a W.
I mean, and that's coming from a player's mouth. That's what they did with the Eagles. So the Eagles weren't that good during that time. So if the Eagles are good and the Cowboys are good, it's a better rivalry let's say the Cowboys respect it more, where the Eagles, they look at the Cowboys as a rivalry, as their number one rival, and they get their feelings hurt if we don't reciprocate that and say, oh, yeah, you're our number one rival, because they're really not. Eagles are probably more with the Giants because, logistically, they're right there. You always had Dallas and Washington were your two dominant teams in the East for all those years. So that's just the way it worked. Maybe it hurts their feelings. Maybe it doesn't. I don't really give a shit. That's just the facts of the history of the NFC East. So hopefully I didn't hurt any Eagles feelings. Let's see what else we got. Washington had the trash. Yeah, had that trash owner Snyder. Yeah, I mean with him gone, that could change things. I mean, he was a big help to the Cowboys because he destroyed that franchise. And it's really, if you think about Washington, it's really kind of sad because Washington was such a great organization, well-run organization. I mean, you're talking about Gibbs and all those guys. Yeah, it was just a well-run organization, and boy, did they Daniel Snyder just absolutely destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. And you kind of, as a football fan, you'd love to see Washington back in the spotlight where they're relevant. It's almost like I'm a Miami fan, so I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, and maybe this is my bias coming in, but I'd say it about Notre Dame too. Is I think college football is better when Miami is near the top, and when Notre Dame is near the top, I think college football is better. And I think that's the way it is with the Cowboys. I think when the Cowboys are a dominant team, then I think the NFL is better. NFL didn't like those years when, after Aikman, when Dallas sucked. It wasn't good for ratings. It wasn't good for money. When the Dallas becomes, relevant and they're in the playoffs, and whether they win or lose, they bring ratings. And when we're good, they throw them on prime time 7 or 8 times. It's great for ratings. So it's definitely it. So let's see. What else do we got? Name you haven't heard in a while. What name? Oh, Art Monk. Yes. Art Monk, Charlie Brown. I mean, they had some good guys. I had a Redskin I was trying to get on the show. He said he would. He was a hog, and we just haven't been able to get our schedules out. He had, or to coincide to where we can do it. But boy, he hates two things. He hates Daniel Snyder, and he hates the name of the Washington team now. So that's all I'll say. But if we get him on, it'll be a lot of fun. And I love talking to those guys about the rivalries of the past. And, it was just that inside look because, during that time, I don't know if it's as much now, but man, they hated each other. I mean, they didn't like each other. They didn't like anything about that other team. And like I said, it's kind of changed now with free agency and the way players move around. It's, NFL today is really more of a business. And that's just the way it is. It's big business. So you lose a little bit of that, but it was, man, during that time, it was, you didn't like nobody. You didn't like nobody. So yeah, Cowboys won 5 Super Bowls. That's true. Can't take that away. Yeah, I'd love to get up there with New England though. You see a team New England passes, you see the Steelers, stay ahead of us. You'd really like to see Dallas get that 6th Lombardi, really kind of get things going because this team is a team they built the rosters there. They should be able to be competitive for a while. If everything, health is always the big factor, but they've drafted very well. They've been strategic in their free agents, but their core is young. Their core is all homegrown talent. If they can keep that core and continue to build on it, they should be competitive. They should be competitive for a while. Washington commodes. Let's see. Best replay to our division. If the trophies aren't so old, why are you taking your teams? Yeah. No, it's been taking it's been a long time. It's been a long time. And thankfully, I still like morning cartoons. So I don't know if that really applies to me. But I was 20. I was living up here, so I was 21 or almost 21 when Dallas won their last Super Bowl. It is too long. I mean, I can't argue if anyone wants to say 27 years or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, but I mean, the 49ers are 28 years. Washington's 32 years. I mean, those are 3 franchises that it's like, how the hell has it been that long since you won a Super Bowl? It's surprising. and I can't, I'd love to have a witty comeback and something like that, but you got 5. You can't take those away. You can't take those away. So, um, you know, anyway, it's they get rid of yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Ultra's he's on fire today. Ultra's on fire, but I'm happy that he at least still watches the show because I do miss Ultra. I wish he'd just come back as Ultra. Don't hate. Yep. Yes. Appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit all that stuff. So happy birthday. You got a birthday coming up. September 19th. That's the day of the game. Now, of course, we're going to win on your birthday. You understand that. So anyway, hey guys, I've been hitting it over for, kicking it with you guys and going solo for over an hour. So I'm going to bounce. I got some stuff to catch up on, but more importantly, again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe. Hit that share that with anyone in Cowboys Nation, whether it be on your Facebook pages, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on whatever else. Man, spread the word, spread the love, because this is what we're going to be doing, and we enjoy it. And if you guys are enjoying it, I'm going to continue to do it. But more importantly, a couple things. Wednesday instead of Thursday, 9 p.m., Kelly K9 and I, we're going to be mixing up with some Cowboys talk. First annual Cowboys Cave tailgate party. Talking about the home opener against the Jets. We're going to be hanging out. Details to follow. Might have ourselves a Dallas Cowboy, former Cowboy, great coming in, hanging with us, signing some autographs, mixing it up with the fans. So that'll be fun. More importantly, we got my man Cuts by Jones, our official sponsor of the show. Always get your unbelievable cuts from him. Make sure you look him up. He's going to be manning the grill, so we'll be cooking out some stuff. And then most importantly, you guys all got to be there and bring some beer, bring some snacks, bring some goodies, bring some stuff. But it's going to be a good time. So make sure you guys check that out. We've got more coming. So make sure you guys keep showing the love, man. I want to show you love. We got some hype videos coming. I got to break out a cameo. So that's the other thing I got to do. So we're going to get a quick cameo done. But I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys check out EJ2 on his and all the content creators. What I tell you guys, support the content creators. Obviously, Law Nation, he don't need no support. He's got all them subscribers. But, and obviously Tuck has come a long way. You have so many Cowboys fan. I'm going to forget people, so I don't want to start running down the list. But EJ, all these guys, Camber's coming out with one. Nick's, all these guys that do great content. I don't even watch NFL Network and ESPN and that crap no more for my Cowboy stuff. Man, these guys are putting in work. West Coast Cowboy. I'm going to forget people. But make sure you guys check it out. Check them all out. More importantly, check me out. Check out the channel. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys Wednesday night live. Kelly K9 and I. You guys have a great evening. And we'll see you Wednesday night.
The Eagles getting ready, because you might not like it. But you will learn to love it because we are the best thing going today. Now, can you dig it?